Hello friends, and as of today, the occupiers don't cease their attempts to advance further and capture as much territory as possible. Despite the rainy weather, the occupiers are trying to conduct assaults using tanks and armored vehicles. Such attacks have started in the Bakhmut direction. Here, the Russians have decided to push the front line as far away from Bakhmut as possible. Therefore, they are storming across the entire front line from Vuhledar to Avdiivka using heavy equipment. Additionally, there is a significant amount of shelling, and the Ukrainian Armed Forces from the field report.
Everything is fine. But the extremely difficult situation with the battles for the landings will later give some details. We are on the dry defensive.
As evident, the situation is described very briefly. The Russians are unable to break through, and the Ukrainian Armed Forces are doing everything to maintain the defense. Unfortunately, the plans to encircle Bakhmut are now no longer relevant, and now the goal is to at least hold the front line at existing position. However, due to the greater strength and equipment of the Russians, this is quite challenging. In the Avdiivka direction, it's a complete inferno. Occupiers are doing everything to encircle the city, launching attacks on both flanks and directly on Avdiivka. The city is under constant shelling with all available ammunition, including cluster and phosphorus. A new video was published late yesterday showing how they shell Avdiivka. Offensive actions are taking place in Novokalinovo, Novobakhmutivka and Stepove. Today, Stepove is in a difficult situation because the occupiers have managed to improve their positions in recent days, putting the village in a semi-encircled state, complicating its defense. Additionally, there are attacks on the southern flank in the areas of Pervomayske and Severne. The occupiers intensively shell Tonenke and Orlivka, two settlements through which roads to Avdiivka pass. Essentially, the Russians currently have them under fire control. The industrial zone of Avdiivka also faces a challenging situation. The Russians continue their attacks, and according to Ukrainian sources, they managed to capture some positions and accordingly advance. However, this information is not confirmed yet, and the battles continue. The Russians claim to have fully captured this territory.
Regarding the importance of the Avdiivka industrial zone near the Yasinovoteya 2 Promka station, here is an approximate map with heights. On it, our territory is highlighted in blue, and the Promka itself is circled in black. Its capture deprives the Ukrainians in the southeast of Avdiivka of a powerful line of defense located on a hill. Now the armed forces of Ukraine have only Tsarskaya Okhota and the former air defense base to the west. Accordingly, from Promka, ours can both squeeze the Tsar's hunt and occupy the forests nearby, including the direction to cut off the DFS. After securing the flank here, we can begin the assault on the private sector a little to the north, which is located in the lowlands.
As of yesterday's evening, the Ukrainian Armed Forces refute this statement.
The Russians did not take all of the industry, but most of it is theirs. Unfortunately, many hundreds are still dying and will die to justify the news that has already been forced.
The overall complex situation is confirmed, and the Ukrainian Armed Forces have already reported that there is information that the Russians have prepared a large amount of manpower today to launch an assault in the Stepove area and fully capture the industrial zone. However, if the Ukrainian Armed Forces are aware of this, it means they are ready to repel all attacks. So, we are waiting updates on the map and official statements. In the Vuhledar direction, the Ukrainian Armed Forces have successfully repelled all previous attacks and currently there are only shelling incidents along the entire front line. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers are still attempting to regain lost positions during their summer counteroffensive. They are breaking through to Rabotine and Novoprokopivka without success, experiencing daily losses, but the attacks persist. Shelling along the entire front line continues unabated. According to unconfirmed data, as a result of tactical battles, the Ukrainian Armed Forces have managed to secure some positions in the direction of Novoprokopivka. All movements are currently in the gray zone with no significant changes, so we await further developments. In the Kherson direction, the number of shelling incidents on the right bank has increased, but there are no new changes along the front line as of now. Russians are trying to strengthen their defense by bringing in reserves, although they complain that they are in short supply. However, the Ukrainian Armed Forces are unable to advance quickly because there is no opportunity to rapidly deploy many reserves and equipment across the river. Meanwhile, the occupiers attempt to use aviation for shelling, but complain that the Ukrainian Armed Forces have started using unidentified foreign surface-to-air missile systems.
Disturbing information from the VKS has arrived. A Su-34 pilot reported that when he crossed the Novaya Kakhovka, Armyansk line with the aim of bombing the area near the settlement of Kryinka, which is 69 kilometers from the Dnieper River, he entered the zone of an unknown foreign SAM radar. In other words, a foreign SAM system is likely deployed against our aviation, and as a result, the number of bombings with KABs against the enemy may be significantly reduced or their accuracy diminished.
In general, another unexpected move from the Ukrainian Armed Forces and Russian war correspondents who are still trying to speak some truth about Russia's failures in this war, attempting to silence those who bring inconvenient truth by offering money to delete certain posts. Overall, Putin's propaganda is working to the fullest. In the areas of Kreminna and Siversk, according to the latest reports, the Russians are still attempting to launch attacks in the forest near Kreminna. However, all their attempts have been unsuccessful as the Ukrainian Armed Forces maintain their defense and continue to eliminate Russian forces. In the Svatove area, battles are also reported in the Stelmachivka area. However, as before, the Russians haven't achieved success and the front line remains unchanged. The situation is more complicated in the Kupiansk direction. The number of attacks is higher, and the Russians are storming Sinkivka, with battles occurring in the area of Petropavlivka. Despite a significant breakthrough of about 4 kilometers, they haven't made any new progress, and the front line remains unchanged over the day. Meanwhile, around 20 truck drivers stuck in the queue on the Polish side of the border due to the protests by Polish carriers want to evacuate to Ukraine. Deputy Minister of Community Development, Territories and Infrastructure of Ukraine, Serhiy Derkach, reported this at a press conference in Polish Drohusk, near the border with Ukraine. He emphasized that the border blockade is causing damage to Ukraine, Poland, and other European Union countries. The deputy minister mentioned that Ukraine receives 30% of everything needed for the country's energy sector through Polish territory and stated that when fuel tankers are unable to cross the border for an extended period and are stuck in queues, it becomes a significant problem for the sector. If the protesters aimed to bring Ukraine to an energy crisis, they seem to be succeeding, Derkach said. He highlighted that in addition to fuel tankers, Trucks with humanitarian aid are also stuck at the border, and despite assurances from protesters not to detain and allow them through out of town, these cases of obstruction are documented. And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.